And no, I won't get there with you. I'm going to Canada.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 funniest Boondocks moments.
I think that you should let it burn. Oh.
For this list, we'll be ranking the most laugh-out-loud, jaw-droppingly hilarious moments from this envelope-pushing animated show. Did we forget your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Dropkick for a parking space.
What the? Oh, come on, you nincompoop! You can't do that, hey!
This moment still continues to make us laugh so many years later. It occurs after the spirit of old Stinkmeaner rises from hell. In order to spread chaos, he takes possession of attorney Tom Dubois. When the legal man is cheated out of a parking space at the last minute, he gets angry, but starts to back down. But then Stinkmeaner's spirit takes hold and makes Tom dropkick the aggressive offender in the chest.
Try this muck.
Oh yeah! Look at you!
After executing this hilarious martial arts move, we're treated to a relentless barrage of insults. While Tom doesn't remember what happened at first, we'll never forget this parking lot scene.
Oh my God! Sir, are you okay? Who did this to you? What did he look like? Did anyone see who accosted this man?
Number 19. Riley's and a Bob Ross knockoff's final graffiti piece.
Let's see here. Riley was her? I'm afraid I don't get it.
The Boondocks had a way of making brilliant satire while producing genuinely emotional moments. A great example comes when they elevated what could have been a one-note joke about a famous artist into a fantastic punchline. While Riley is doing graffiti, a walking Bob Ross parody shockingly walks up and gives the kid advice. The two begin working together to tag more places around town.
Okay, I see paints, flashlights, ooh, and a pair of fast running shoes for getting away from the police. We're all set.
Watching the soft-spoken art teacher calmly encourage graffiti and other crimes never stops being funny. And despite his calm demeanor, he's willing to shoot at police tires. This humorous plot culminates in a heartwarming moment where Riley reveals a piece he made for his family before being ordered to clean it up.
It's so beautiful. Thank you, boy.
Well, that's it. Out of memory. You can start cleaning it off now.
Number 18. Tom sings in the street.
See, it's burning me to hold on to this. I know this is something I gotta do.
A boring anniversary for Tom and his wife Sarah is rocked when Usher arrives. An impromptu serenade and flirting from the famous singer drives a huge rift between the couple. After the spouses split early in the episode, a distraught Tom sings a rendition of Usher's Burn. His rendition is both incredibly off-key and laugh-inducing. At one point, Tom even forgets the words to the song.
Too many days, and hours, I'm still burning till you return.
What makes this impromptu musical number even better is the animation. It's treated like a perfect parody of Usher's music video. However, the show constantly reminds the depressed man that he's acting like he's on camera while everyone else is going about their lives. This sequence is so entertaining that we might like Tom's burn more than the original.
What is that in the background? Are you doing the music video thing again?
Gotta go, honey, bye.
Number 17. A failed celebrity plot.
Oprah Winfrey has the power to lay waste an entire industry with a mere utterance. She's a completely invincible, unstoppable force of nature.
Ed Wensler III and his partner Gin Rummy hatch an ill-advised plot to make Oprah Winfrey their hostage by getting to her at a local book signing. But it predictably goes pear-shaped right from the jump. For starters, they go into the wrong bookstore and don't grab the influential female celebrity they were looking for.
Yo, Rummy, Riley said that ain't open. What? Who the hell is this? Oh, God damn it! It's,
However, their scheme only goes further off the rails from there. After reorganizing the plan, they once again get control of the wrong person. The duo commits all these mistakes while Riley constantly heckles how bad they are at executing a plan. By the end of the episode, their ill-fated scheme only succeeds at making us laugh.
Damn, sick of playing with y'all. Y'all two are pathetic.
Number 16. Grandad's online date goes south.
For most of my granddad's romantic life, the internet hadn't been invented yet, so he was still discovering the dangers of online dating.
While Riley and Huey's granddad tries his luck with a lot of women, there was one person in particular that nearly spelled his doom. After Robert Freeman takes another shot at online dating to find someone, he finds the beautiful, intelligent, and charming Luna. But she's not nearly as nice as she appears to be at first. The red flags start emerging when they realize that Luna's a master of deadly martial arts.
Maybe you would like a demonstration. What about a friendly sparring match?
That sounds perfect.
Although Robert tries to make a clean break, she returns to the house and threatens the family's life. While the end of the episode is extremely bleak, the main story serves as an incredibly over-the-top cautionary tale about online dating.
I lied to get you out of the house because I was afraid you'd do something like this. And look, I was right. Don't take your past out on other people.
Number 15. Seeing how Gangstalicious ended up in the hospital. The character of Gangstalicious is a great parody of the hardcore personas that some rappers create for themselves. His lifestyle takes him to the hospital in a wildly unexpected way. Shortly after the musician insists he won't get shot again, the news cuts in and says he's wounded.
We interrupt Gangstalicious' resurrection for this breaking news story. Rapper Gangstalicious has been shot.
Again?
Again.
The sudden announcement would have been funny on its own, but the ironic twist gets better when we see how Gangstalicious got his injury. While singing a song called I Got Shot at a concert, he gets, well, you can guess the punchline.
I got shot! I got shot! No, I got shot for real! I got shot for real!
This great gag comes with a great button that the audience doesn't get the musician help right away because they think it's all part of the song.
Does it hurt?
What, this? No. Oh!
Number 14. Catcher Freeman's truth is revealed.
Hero. He was your great granddaddy. The story of Catcher Freeman.
Since the Boondocks was unafraid to tackle taboo subjects, the show spent an episode dedicating to telling the story of a black man named Catcher Freeman who lived before the Civil War. Both Robert and Uncle Ruckus tell their own wild and ludicrous version of this man's history. However, the truth is much more of a joke than either of them could have expected. It turns out that Catcher wasn't the noble hero Grandad painted or sinister villain Ruckus suggested. The historical figure was simply concerned about getting a screenplay produced while events around him spun wildly out of control.
He is believed to have written the first screenplay in secret, several years before the invention of the motion picture industry.
While this plot goes to ridiculous lengths that will still make viewers gasp, the understated ending of the episode is the best punchline.
Okay, guys, look. I think you're all missing a really big opportunity here with my script.
Number 13. Robert's issue with Rosa Parks.
You prank called Rosa Parks?
She stole my thunder.
Robert, you got to let it go.
What did Rosa Parks do to you?
Rosa Parks was forever etched in the history books when she refused to give up her seat for a white passenger on a bus. But in this infamous flashback, Grandad suggests we don't know what really happened. He claims that the bus driver asked him to move first. After Robert refused, Rosa Parks followed suit and said she wouldn't give up her seat either.
No, I am not going to move.
In the aftermath of their protest, Grandad claims that no one remembered that he was there at all. While this seat mishap sounds like your average Seinfeld joke, it becomes an absurd moment of satire in this historical context. The speed at which the characters move on from this account only adds to the humor.
Well, anyway.
Number 12. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech.
King amazed the world when on November 2nd, 7 days after awaking from a 30-year coma, he showed up to vote in the 2000 presidential election. He was turned away due to voting irregularities.
In one of the show's most controversial plots, they reveal that Martin Luther King Jr. has actually been in a coma for decades. Although his return is initially met with universal joy and praise, he finds it hard to adjust to the modern world. Martin Luther King's frustrations about how certain aspects of the world have turned out slowly build up inside of him throughout the narrative. He finally lets his rage out in a cutting monologue that parodies the famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
Black entertainment television is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Martin Luther King Jr. hilariously calls out several things he cannot stand. Admittedly, the icon's frequent use of a certain word still divides audiences today. This boundary-pushing speech remains one of the show's most controversial bits to date.
And now I'd like to talk about soul playing.
Number 11, Riley's Rampage.
The second rule of fundraising is that fundraising is not illegal. See, that's because you're not technically stealing from people. They give you the money.
What started as a Boondocks episode about selling chocolate turned into a fantastic parody of crime narratives like Goodfellas and Scarface. Riley goes from hustling a few candy bars at school to building a candy-coated empire that spread across multiple schools.
World's ultimate chocolates? They came by my office today. They're mad. I mean, they're really mad.
So what? I'm supposed to be scared of a bunch of guys who make candy?
After enjoying success, his business rivals resort to increasingly brutal methods to stop the sweet operation. Riley eventually comes face to face with another chocolate kingpin and launches into a hilariously profane speech that we can't play a single second of. Although we can't dive into it here, it's definitely worth checking out to see how chocolate led to such an over-the-top monologue.
The thing people ask me most is would I do it again?
Hey, you kids still selling those chocolate bars for charity?
Number 10, Riley's Teacher. In Season 2's The S Word, the Freemans sue Riley's third grade teacher, Mr. Pedo, for using this slur against Riley.
It's a derogatory racial remark that has divided people for many years.
And a J. Edgar Hoover elementary teacher has now been suspended.
Mr. Pedo explains that his foul-mouthed students' language is so heavily littered with the slur that he's stopped noticing it entirely, as it has crept into his inner voice.
I'm telling you, my inside voice didn't talk like that before he got in my class.
He depicts Riley's use of the word as being so ubiquitous that when he heard Riley ask about borrowing a fry, Mr. Pedo's inside voice had the reflex to respond in kind instead of being offended by the contemptuous term. This episode is actually loosely based on real events. Number 9, Grandad opens a restaurant. If you know what it's like to taste food as addictive as caffeine, then this episode's for you. When Grandad cooks soul food for Sunday dinner, Ed Wensler is so impressed that he offers to open a restaurant to serve it.
I'm telling you, Robert, this is the best location in Woodcrest.
Grandad's food produces an effect called the itis, which is a sleepy state that results from its extremely high fat content.
Huey, you handle the dishes.
Wensler's plan, as suggested by Riley, to cater to this effect by providing beds for sleeping customers of the Itis restaurant, proves to be too successful, as the neighborhood quickly devolves into a crime-infested area, with individuals becoming obsessed with Grandad's fatty food.
Damn! What happened to you?
Look, I was just wondering if I could get a quick Luther burger.
Hey, come on, get off me!
Please.
What's wrong with you, woman?
Just one.
It's ultimately revealed that this was Wensler's plan all along, so that he could buy the remaining property in the neighborhood.
I believe our business is done. Have a nice day.
Number 8, diss track for Grandad. When the fictional rap superstar Thugnificent moves into Woodcrest across the street from the Freemans, a beef is instantly born.
Oh man, Thugnificent and the lethal interjections living here.
Thugnificent makes an immediate impact in the neighborhood by throwing a party, and Grandad files a complaint for noise and cars parked on his lawn.
Hey, shut up all that damn noise! I'm an old man. Y'all need to listen to some Nat King Cole.
In response to this transgression, Thugnificent releases an expletive-filled diss song and music video against Grandad, and it does not disappoint.
Snitching ain't the thing to do, so now me and my crew gonna show the block how to handle this fool.
The rapper goes after Grandad's old age and snitching ways and hires a pathetic old actor to imitate him. The hilarious track then inspires kids all throughout town to assault old people. As a local teen explains, quote, because Thugnificent does it and that makes it cool.
Recently, a rash of elderly assaults attributed to the beef have broke out, including 2 in Lithuania and 1 in Tokyo. The AARP announced a boycott of Thugnificent's record label.
Number 7, Riley writes a letter to Santa. When Riley doesn't get what he wants from Santa, there's a price to pay. In this episode, Riley takes revenge on St. Nick for failing to give him a set of rims that was on his wish list during a previous Christmas.
I didn't ask for much. Just rims, not even the whole car. And what do we get? Nothing.
Riley takes it up with the old man in a mall appearance by throwing a chair at him and beating him with a golf club. He then proceeds to threaten Santa in writing, giving us a hilarious insight into Riley's creative process and making sure to get the point across with a few choice words.
I'm coming for that ass again until you pay what you owe. Sincerely yours, the Santa Stalker.
As we find out later in the episode, the letter doesn't seem to get the job done to Riley's satisfaction, so another mall Santa must unfortunately meet the young boy's wrath. Number 6, American Compassion. When people start believing that fried chicken might be making them sick, the Freemans turn to President Obama's televised emergency speech for guidance.
Shush! President Obama's talking.
My
I
fellow
know he's going to
Americans.
tell us what to do.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start off by thanking all of you out there who have called and written letters about the safety of the First Family. You'll be happy to know that Michelle, Sasha, Malia, myself, and Bo are all fine.
Don't nobody care about you, man. Tell us everything will be okay for us.
After reassuring the country that he and his family are safe, he delivers some unsatisfying news for Grandad. The country's best way to get through this is to have compassion for our fellow man.
In times of crisis, Americans pull together. And what's going to get us through this difficult time? Sharing.
Sharing?
Lending a helping hand to a neighbor in their hour of need.
Grandad's panicked anger reveals his absolute distrust and hatred for others as he loudly yells in front of his grandchildren. This makes it abundantly clear that when the apocalypse hits, Grandad isn't the one you want to be with.
We all gonna die!
Number 5, Uncle Ruckus performs an exorcism. If you thought Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus would be any less racist than just the plain old Uncle Ruckus, you are in for a surprise. Tom Dubois gets possessed by the ghost of the old man Stinkmeaner, who has returned to seek revenge on Grandad for killing him in a previous episode.
We could all be reading a book right now.
Once Stinkmeaner attacks, the Freemans need to use everything they've got to subdue him and tie him to a bed. Unable to rid the spirit themselves, they enlist Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus to perform an exorcism, and it goes exactly as you'd expect.
May white God bless you, Robert. I came as fast as I could.
Ruckus makes the family beat the possessed man with items like job applications as they scream profanities throughout.
Get your black ass out of here! Yeah.
Number 4, what Grandad does to Stinkmeaner. Before Stinkmeaner went to hell, he caused hell on Earth. He notably got into a huge parking lot scuffle with Grandad.
What happened?
My bad knee! Oh, lordy, lordy, lord.
After losing to his enemy's supposed martial artist skills, Robert Freeman spends the episode preparing for round 2. The build-up to this geriatric grudge match is absolutely hilarious, but the only thing better than their fight is the punchline. As it turns out, Huey wildly overestimated Stinkmeaner's ability, and in reality, when he beat Grandad, he just got lucky. Unfortunately, Huey discovers this too late, and the blind man soon meets his demise.
Dang, Granddad, you don't have to kill him.
Number 3, Slickback. When Grandad starts dating a younger woman, you could say that he's a bit unwilling to accept the truth about her profession. Throughout the episode, his new girlfriend Crystal drops a hilariously great deal of signs to suggest that she's a working girl. Her ability to run fast in heels, her constant checking to see if he's a cop, and her multiple shopping trips. Robert's denial persists and eventually culminates in a scene in which he meets a man in a purple suit who insists on being referred to as a pimp named Slickback.
No, it's a pimp named Slickback, like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.
Even after this meeting, Grandad incredulously asks if she really is causing both the kids and Crystal to interrupt him by screaming the very obvious answer at him. Talk about rose-colored glasses.
So you really are
Yes!
Number 2, being interviewed by Werner Herzog. When filmmaker Werner Herzog tracks down Huey to interview him about Obama's inevitable victory in the 2008 elections, hilarity ensues. Grandad supports the president without having any understanding of what he actually stands for.
I'm voting for Obama because he's gonna lower my taxes.
Actually, he has promised to raise taxes at your income level.
Huh?
But while the others rave about Obama's win and celebrate it with a thugnificent, ridiculous track with will.i.am, Huey is less than impressed. He responds unenthusiastically when asked if he's merely excited or extremely excited that everything is going to change forever. Herzog's description that Huey's bleak outlook is too depressing for him to handle is the perfect way to cap this election episode plotline.
In Bavaria we have a saying, der Junge ist ja total bedient. It means this is the most depressing kid I've ever met in my life.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Huey lays it down. At the top of our list, we have one of the most incisive criticisms of American culture found in the series, and it comes from the very first episode.
I'm not a prophet, but sometimes I have prophetic dreams, like the one where I was at a garden party.
In a dream, Huey informs a group of rich white people that Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan is the devil, and the government is responsible for 9/11. Pandemonium ensues as the crowd devolves into violent chaos. Later, at Ed Wensler's garden party that Huey and Riley are forced to attend, Huey tries to reenact his dream, but he encounters one unanticipated problem. None of the rich white people care. Huey is unable to deal with the encouragement and compliments from the various wealthy partygoers, who, instead of being offended and rioting, are all impressed that the young boy is so thoughtful and articulate.
Tell me this, why was all the video recording of the Pentagon attack seized by the FBI and never seen again?
He speaks so well. He's adorable.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.